What's up, Buffalo Bill fans? Another tumultuous season is over with. 2012 season in the books. And not only is that in the books, Gailey's tenure as Buffalo Bills head coach is thankfully over with. I know all of us were probably checking our Twitters, checking ESPN, whatever news feed you prefer, just to see it come up, and it eventually did. And not only him, but the entire staff let go. And the right move across the board. I don't want to hear about, well, this position coach that, but no, they all needed to go. And I think a lot more than these coaches need to go. I think Buddy Nix needs to be gone too, because he has his fingerprints all over this outfit, from the coaching staff that was fired, the head coach, and a lot of these players. I mean, he had to sign off on Fitz, which I think is the ultimate demise of this entire era in Bills football, is getting the anointing oil out on Fitz and just saying, well, you know what, you're an undisputed franchise quarterback, and no contingency plan. No one was brought in legitimately to challenge him, and the only guy that maybe could have was released, and the only other guy that could have never got a uniform. One being Travaris Jackson, the other being Vince Young. So this thing was botched from day one with Gailey, and I believe Nix, who needs to be fired as well. The Trent Edwards getting the start, to the Kelsey extension that, labeled him as a leader. And that's just to my point. A guy like Chris Kelsey, a guy like George Wilson, a guy like, Terrence McGee, been around forever. Kyle Williams, Fred Jackson even. Everybody wants to pile on Fitz and Gailey, and that's easy. But those other guys too, you know what? They've been here for a lot of this losing too, and they've been on the field and made mistakes and have plays made on them. They played on defenses that gave up 400 straight points and 400 points in 3 straight seasons, and fumbled the football in critical situations. They're just as much the face of failure of this franchise as anybody, and they all need to go too. You want to keep Fred as a backup running back, fine, but the rest of them, honestly, you get what you can for Kyle Williams. I'll go back on my original statement and say you didn't need to trade him like I did. You know what? You need to trade him. He needs Achilles surgery again. The guy's 30 years old, an undersized defensive tackle. Got stiff-armed to the ground by Mark Sanchez, of all people, yesterday. Really, I just think you need to purge this roster of these guys, a lot of them. And I don't want to hear the talk of the roster's better. It's not better. They were 7-9. I go by wins. I don't go by perception. That's what I go by. I go by wins, and the results say that they're not better. 4-12 and 2 6-10 seasons that are largely made up of wins against really bad football teams. That's not good. You're fattening your record against the Chiefs and the Browns and the a Miami here and there. You have one win against one team that made the playoffs and had a winning record. The 3 straight 400+ point seasons is unbelievable. The myriad of personnel mistakes, this infatuation with Sean Merriman. Mike Mayock during the Thursday night game against Miami had the best line ever on Merriman. Nobody has made more money in the NFL in the last 2 years and done less than Sean Merriman. That was, and my God, can we stop waiting for this guy to turn into the 2005-6 Sean Merriman? And this is just more to my point. The face of failure of this franchise is things like that, and the reason why Nix should be on his way out the door along with Gailey is right now as we speak. And Gailey is a nice guy, and Fitz is a nice guy. You got to remember they are people too, but you know what? This is a results business, and it's about winning, and we're talking about a fan base, including myself, that has been starved for just any type of winning for a long period of time, and this just has to stop. You had a head coach out there saying that he was scared to put his 2 best running backs on the field at the same time because, well, what if one gets hurt? Scared to kick 50 yards. Saying this, that he's scared. Oh, scared to kick a 52-yard field goal because I'd rather pin him back and play defense with a horrible defense that he had, or scared to for injuries, scared, coaching scared. The guy should have been fired when those words came out of his mouth, and now he is fired after another lost season. It's just unbelievable. You had an offensive coordinator trying to play the role of head coach, didn't know how to delegate responsibility, had no interest in what was going on the defensive side, and it showed. And for people to sit here and talk about how this roster is better, I don't see it. I mean, the way I look at it, Aaron Schobel and Mario Williams are interchangeable, really. I didn't see any big moves or big, he had a few good games here, but you pay the guy the money he's making, you damn well better get some good games out of him. And people want to, always throw it on the defensive coordinator and stuff. Hell, you had people, once the defense had a few good games, you had Bills fans calling the radio and saying they wanted to make Wannstedt the coach after they fired. I mean, come on. Give me a break. Oh, move Gailey to OC and bring it. No, that doesn't happen like that. You've got to get rid of all these guys. And that was done, and that was the right move. And Nix needs to go too, and hopefully that'll be done also. You obviously need fresh minds, fresh ideas. Enough of this. Let's bring back Polian. Let's have Kelly in the front office. All this grasping at straws for the past. It's done. The Levy thing, the endorsements from Bill Walsh to Trent Edwards, and the endorsements from Cowher to Gailey, and the endorsement from Levy to Geron. The rhetoric is done. Just like with these group of players that I mentioned, like the Kyle Williams, the George Wilsons, all the other guys who seemingly slip under the radar because they're nice guys and they have feel-good stories. Brian Scott and Fred Jackson, the face of failure on this franchise. And those guys, honestly, for this organization to flip the page, need to be gone too. And with that, Bills fans, I'll leave you to it. I appreciate your questions and comments, and have a safe New Year. Have a good New Year, and we'll have a lot more Bills football to talk about in the upcoming weeks. I definitely can guarantee you that. Until then, you guys take care.